like all scenarios, we have to ensure that the scene is safe before we begin rescue, or else we could become a victim too. And in this scenario, you can see that the baby has probably actually got themselves into a bad situation because they bit a cord that was frayed and may have been electrocuted. So before we ever touch this baby, we've got to make sure that we de-energize the source of the electrocution. In this case, I follow with my eyes the cord right back to its source of energy. And I carefully unplug it and ensure that there's no longer any chance of getting electrocuted. It's at this time, if there are bystanders, it wouldn't be bad to call 911 or have somebody go call 911 while we then grab the baby and bring them to a place where there's a hard surface so that we begin rescue. Carefully roll the baby, bring them to a hard surface. Now let's take a look at infant CPR. But before we get into the actual skills, let's talk about a few important parts. And one of those is make sure that the surface that you lay the baby on is hard and it will not allow the body of the baby to sink into padding. And that's part of the reason why I'm not on the floor on a carpeted, padded surface. We want to make sure that every compression I give is maximal. We want to make sure that it is actually doing what it's supposed to do and that the baby's body is not sinking into that surface, diminishing the effect of the compression. Number two, when it comes to infants and children, they're so respiratory driven, they're so oxygen driven, that we want to make sure to make a note whether or not they went into cardiac arrest in our presence or whether we found them already in cardiac arrest. Because if we found them in cardiac arrest and we don't know how long they've been down, we know they need oxygenation really bad. And so we're going to actually postpone contacting 911 or EMS to give them CPR when we don't have a phone readily available. If we have a phone available or we have somebody who can go call 911, then by all means don't delay EMS. But if you don't have a way to call 911 and we found the baby already in cardiac arrest, we're going to deliver 2 minutes of CPR before we interrupt to go call 911. If the baby was witnessed, we call 911 immediately and then go right into CPR. It's not wrong to carry the baby with you either. So if you found the baby downstairs and you know you have to bring them up to meet the ambulance, you could carry the baby with you and get the 911 call made and then begin your CPR right away. In this case, the scene is safe, our gloves are on, our CPR Shield is available, and I actually do have a cell phone that's available. So I'm going to call 911 because the baby is not responding. I've already tapped their feet, I've already tapped their chest. They didn't move, they didn't cry, they didn't talk, they didn't move to my tickling, and they certainly are not breathing normally. So I know this is a medical emergency. So I called 911, I actually put the phone on the speaker so that the dispatch center can coach me through this event. I'm not alone anymore, I have help. Now I'm going to bare the chest of the baby and I'm going to find the imaginary line between the nipples. I'm now going to put my 2 fingers down on the center of the chest to begin my 1/3 the depth of the chest or approximately 1.5 deep compressions at a rate between 100 and 120 times per minute. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now I'm going to take my CPR Shield with a one-way valve. I'm going to cover the nose and mouth of the baby. Now watch as I do the head tilt chin lift. I'm not bringing the head fully back like I would a large child or an adult because a baby's airway is only the size of their pinky. So what we're doing is bringing the baby's head into more of a neutral position. Remember, infants don't really have much of a neck. So if their chin is too close to their chest or their head is tilted back too far, both can actually diminish the openness of their airway. So I want them in more of a neutral position. Now there's another little way to remember that, and I call it the sniffing position. Now what do I mean by sniffing position? Well, what I mean is if you walked into a room and someone were baking cookies, you wouldn't really put your nose down like you're smelling a flower. You would maybe put it a slightly bit up into the air and, ooh, someone's baking cookies. What's that smell? So that's what we mean by the sniffing position. It's not fully back, it's just slightly raised. And so we bring the baby's head into the neutral position or slightly sniffing position. Now I'm going to seal my mouth over the nose and mouth of the baby and deliver a rescue breath. As I deliver the breath, I see the chest rise and fall. I'm going to deliver my second breath. As I give my second breath, the air goes in again. Now I'm going to repeat the chest compressions. 30 chest compressions between a rate of 100 to 120 times a minute. Then I'm going to give them 2 more rescue breaths. And I'm going to continue this cycle of 30 chest compressions to 2 rescue breaths. And I'm not going to stop until EMS arrives, an AED arrives, or someone equally trained or higher relieves me from this skill.